Clubhouse, because Bank is just like, there's a lot more possibilities.
Yeah.
Clubhouse is that, I'm going to say the line, step-by-step map.
You said it.
Said it.
Been said.
There's no locker statistic I want to be quoting here, though, so you've been saved from that one.
I was excited for it.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be mentioning how G2 only lost 1 locker's defense on a game where they don't play.
Hey, Iana. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to say that she's a specific crutch operator unless you say it as in terms of the whole meta and the whole game. The double ban Nook Iana is interesting.
No, don't say that. Milosh will come back.
He can come back all he wants.
Yeah, when are we going to have the Milosh listening?
It's
like, we've had the professional.
Yes, with Valk. Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. Remove Valk. But that's 2 big guns. That's 4 grenades from a very small pool of grenades.
There's only 4 operators, I believe, that carry grenades nowadays. So there's not going to be many left. Now, Sledge, of course, one of them is still going to be in play and is often played as well. Kate to be removed as well. It's definitely going to be making it easier to open up these hatches. As, you know, a bended wire on top of the hatch just doesn't really hit the same as the electric law underneath. It's easier dispatched. All right.
You just P4 play because Mowgli, without the Iana, is locked onto the Ashe. And
yes.
P4 usually was the Ashe main.
Bravo.
Bravo.
I mean, it's a fair trade. I'd be happy with that if I was the Ashe main for the team. I'm known for hoarding the new operator whenever I'm playing. So.
Oh, okay. So for not being a good person.
I didn't say that.
I did.
If people ask me to play it, that's fine. They can play it. It's just that not a lot of people, you know, in my low ranked have the battle pass.
Compared to like Solus and I would say Azami, Brava was less insta-locked by people, I think, in ranked.
She's more situational.
Yeah, people aren't. You know, I think Brava's great.
I agree.
Great gun, great drone.
Lots of meme potential.
Lots of meme potential.
Which is, of course, what everything...
Will we get a cat? We're not even seeing it. We're getting the buck instead. Brava's been swapped out. How will this Nook and Iana game play? We talked about this being quite a fun, explosive map, but it's sort of been set itself up now without 2 famous front fangs for either of these teams.
Well, explosive map without a lot of explosives now, because it's just going to be Deadshot now that has the ability to use grenades, but uses the L85 first. Finds Savage. Was that a jump out? I'm not quite sure. No, it wasn't. So that... Oh, it was. It was. Never mind. It was a jump out. Has been taken care of. Still has those 2 grenades in pocket, but needs to be a bit more careful with his life now. Astro taking a lot of damage early on as well. It's not the ideal start for Team Secret, I'd say.
No, I think you can jot that down. It's not the ideal. Did do a lot of damage to Deadshot, and obviously one more bullet connects there, and suddenly it's the perfect start. You've got the jump out, you've got the rundown, you've got that opening kill onto one of the only remaining people with grenades in this almost grenadeless world. And suddenly you have a lead, and it's a risk. And to be honest, those risks happen on Bank, and they often happen on the first round of Bank as well. You sort of greet them with an energy and hope that they're not quite ready for it. Deadshot was. There's a bit of a spray, and well, the C4 gets the rest of him. How close it was didn't really matter with the little amount of health he had left.
It was honestly just a single particle that needed to hit him. Like a teammate could sneeze on him and he would die at that moment in time. So there's going to be the grenades removed. Still managing to find that initial kill they wanted to go for, which was, of course, orchestrated by the pulse down below. Now 90 seconds left on the clock. Open area needs to be taken under control first before they can go downstairs. Groovy finds a beautiful kill onto Mowgli before he falls back together with his teammate. That means Wolves now should have the first floor, well, you know, open to take for themselves, because Secret, they've fallen back towards the ground floor, or basement.
Yeah, they're all locked down here, underground, waiting now for the rest of the approach. With 2 Wolves players gone, they've lost the Ashe, they've lost that bit of the tip of the fight there as well. It's down to the remaining 3 players, mainly Hard Breach, to see if they can sort of funnel a push and a pull here. All the flashes in the world, pretty much glue them together. You've got maybe close to a Candela strike if they can try and go for the quick peppered plant and play.
Get some duct tape.
Yeah, got the wall open. You can see they're still getting the read there on just what might be coming, but nothing as of yet.
Flashbangs being tossed down. Now the big issue is actually Groovy still being out there in the garage. Because you might want to go for a hatch drop. That is Bibu, of course, currently playing right above it, just to make sure you have that opportunity to go for the plan. But if you do that, you're going to be, first of all, prone to the pulse that is a bit further down the hall. The player that's inside of gold as well. And then in the meantime, also the player that's inside of the garage as Astro finds P4. That's going to be another take that they will have to suffer on the side of Wolves. The plant was quickly attempted, but will not be stuck for now. They need to go for more kills. Shinka trying to stick it anyway. Bibu in a position where he can pick up one, doesn't spot the person on his right-hand corner, finds another. But the lockdown is there from the C4, and that's going to be the first round.
I mean, there was this fight on the other side, and as you said, a C4 did flitter its way over the top there towards the planter. They tried to make the best of a situation where they'd already lost the start of the push, and they got close.
They definitely did.
Close.
They shouldn't have gotten that close, though. And as we wait, just a quick rejoin coming through due to a tech issue, which means we can see Savage just drinking out of a giant bottle of water.
It is a very large bottle of water.
Or he's the size of Doke and he's just having a normal size bottle.
You never need to ask if Savage is hydrated.
Same for Slabin, it's just a whole jug out there.
Thirsty work playing Siege.
This is a hydration check, by the way, that you see.
That is. Oh, I just cheered the camera.
Cheered the camera, cheered everybody at home. Take a sip.
I want it to get more and more ridiculous as the weeks go on. I want at one point, you know those like office water bottles?
Yeah, where you like, put like a little cup on there.
Yeah. I want
just have someone would use those.
One of them to either use that and then someone else to just have one of those bottles that you would put onto that machine and just drink from them.
What about that giant container that's like a meter by meter which they move water in?
What about those hats that you can put drinks in?
Secret or Wolves, please release a hat with drinks in it.
If a player ever does that.
How are you going to do that with your headset, though? Like, surely you got to play with in-ears to make that comfortable.
Headset manufacturers around the world, there's a market.
Yeah, there is a market out there.
For a novelty drinking headphones to keep gamers hydrated.
Would you use the microphone as the straw as well?
Imagine having one of them as water and one of them as any energy drink as well.
It's like you have the microphone be hooked up to the straws?
F1 drivers have like a drink system in the cars, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why can't pro esports players?
They don't have it in their headsets, though.
They should.
But I agree. I think there's a market there that should definitely be discovered by peripheral producers.
Hey, we're back in. Quick tech rehost after the first round, but we're back in Secret. They have that lead. They have that first round in their belt. That was down on the bottom. Now they're right up to the top. CEO. That's the next site we find ourselves on.
Seeing these long angles being created as well, just to have the opportunity to find yourselves with a bit of an opportunity to contest on the top square. Now, an operator we do often see on this side is Castle, not actually being brought out now. So instead, we have a different architect to be on the board, which is going to be the Izami, using the keeper barriers to block us on lines of sight, provide yourselves with some safety. Just so you can safely contest that top of square, but also the window repels and everything like that.
All right, Wolves, what's the bite this time round? Zafir is going to come up alongside Ash. Obviously, Zafir has sort of majorly dropped off. You rarely see the run of that gun nowadays, or either of them, to be fair.
It's weird though, because the utility is still very good, but due to the fact that we've moved away from the utility burn meta where you needed to go through like 7 shields, like 15 bulletproofs and all that kind of stuff, it's not really that necessary anymore. Like, the guns are still okay, it's just that there's a lot of operators that bring utility that's just way more useful in this current meta. I'm sure once we start heading back towards more of these bulletproof gadgets being on the field, Zofia is gonna be finding a more consistent stay together with Ash. But for now, we will have to do with the occasional pick every now and then. As X-Cameras are being used to get rid of some of these keeper barriers. Of course, they could be quickly replaced. Actually, none in pocket currently, so we'll have to wait before they're throwing up any replacements out there on the side of Secret. Astro just took that mode. We're not quite sure if there was any information out there. It was just a swing through and a clean pickup. Probably not even able to respond to anything that happened out there.
Well, that's that sort of moment here. Once again, they've lost that quite early entry. They've lost that fight, the fire that can be brought here on the opposite end. And they've still got to try and rebuild themselves. Secret, they're playing the full stretch of this map. They're playing themselves with an idea if we can sort of challenge them. We have the intel, we have the catch. You look at what they've got, and it's sort of all the preventive measures against the idea of a smoke plant, against the idea of a plant underneath, and then also the rotation capabilities of the Oryx. It's really all those bank tricks played and rolled into one hold. How successful it is, I guess, is really how much pressure is applied elsewhere. BBU's watching. As the two players are still stacked up on the windows, he's making sure nobody comes out. The swing comes through, the pop onto the barricade, caught out by Groovy. There's a second. As I said, they sort of had the hold across the board. Wolves tried to roll the dice and, oh, it did not connect. Groovy at least gets caught, but with 40 seconds, there's 4 more to find.
I believe the diffuser also down on the ground. Proximity sensors now giving away some of these positions. There is a phone that could be hacked here by P4 if he feels like it. Now, it gives the attackers access to the remaining cameras that are still on there, but do you really want to take that risk? How much are you going to be gaining off it as well? You see, instead he's just swapping over to the SMG to lean into some of the fights because the diffuser has been recovered. They need to try and get this down on the ground to make those 45 seconds count for them. And BBU, he's just going to be repelling in, but he's going to be shot right through the closet that has been opened up. That's going to be another drop to come through. Only up to P4 now in a 1v3 situation. Gets locked off. Secret find themselves with a second round.
Second round in a row here for Secret. They've made sure that they sort of keep that pace up. Either side of the tech rehost, they were there, present. And unfortunately pertinent for the side of Wolves. This time is an attack. This is a team talk. The timeout has been called very early in this showdown here for Wolves.
I was going to say, that is very early. Lilu now having the opportunity to have a bit of a chat. See what's going wrong. And Fresh mentioned it before, this game on Bank is going to be answering a lot of questions about these two lineups because, of course, before we knew Wolves with Rise, who was that experienced leader, like making the callouts that need to happen, he's gone now. Who is picking that up? Who is making these calls now? Who is keeping Wolves disciplined when there is no timeout to be made? And it's like early tactical timeout like this that just shows me that, or at least tells me, that it's just not connecting together now for Wolves. You can kind of see that in the gameplay as well. Like, it's a bit disjointed. Need to work together more to find themselves the success they're looking for. Also, not forget to mention, if Secret lose this game, I'm pretty sure they're out of contention for the major. And I'm not 100% sure because Wolves do have a point and still have 3 games in total, so 2 after this. If they lose this one, they're also going to find themselves in a very tough spot to try and fight out. So, a lot on the line here. You don't want your major run to end after 3 games. No, that's very bad if that would happen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be happy with it.
No, I think you would be sad.
Yeah, you'd be very sad. You'd have like 6 months to cry about it. And
a long time. And that's the sort of thing as well with the new system, is if things go off the rails early, and they stay off the rails for a period of time. Exactly. You know, in the previous system, there was sort of those 3 opportunities if you're one of these T1 League teams to fight for a major. There's a reset period in between each. Now it is that sort of ominous space that hangs over for the next time you might get an opportunity if this goes awry, and then the open quals, and the other sort of routes through fall apart. So the approach comes here over the top. The catch on the procs is going to be theirs. There's the first charge done, utilized. Not going to go for the camera, is going to go for a gunfight, which they lose because they're a drone without a gun.
Yeah, it's very hard to win a gunfight if you don't have a gun.
Very tricky.
It's honestly very tricky to
win a gunfight, yeah. They have control underneath. Look at the player looking up stock right now, waiting for this, the approach through. Do they know? Are they too focused on the shield itself? They actually rotate their way out for now, but there are pings coming around, and there's Mowgli finding Savage. Wolves finally get a bit of the taste on the right side of an entry.
They find the entry, but they need to find more than that. They need to start knocking onto that door, and with that, they need to get rid of these shields. I believe they might have just taken one out, which means there's going to be a bit more security needed from Secret there. They cannot just hold that as aggressively as they did before, as Mowgli is now going on the chase. Check and Janitor knows it's clear indeed the shield has been removed. Pushes forward. Now, this is just step one for Wolves. They need to take that top floor under control, but Groovy's still out there, leans into the fight, gets picked up by Mowgli, and that's a double entry for Wolves. Making this round so much better, so much more successful for them, as they're looking to instantly strike back after the timeout.
Obviously, it is the tertiary site. It is the place where theoretically Secret will be the weakest, but not this week. Here it is. Wolves have started to show up. Strike down Slevin, and suddenly Astro is against the world. Not for very long, though. There they are, taken aboard and taken across the boards. A perfect response from Wolves after they called their attack timeout. They find their first round, but can they do it on the sites they've had more trouble? Lockers will be the first, and as I said before, the first 2 bodies to go away from them here were the start of the push. Even then, they almost eked out a plant.
Yes.
But couldn't quite get there.
But that's the thing, right? Like, it was a 2-on-4, I believe, at that moment in time when they tried to push through. Like, one person going for the plan, the other one just sneaking through, somehow going unseen, unheard. Finding those 2 kills probably shouldn't have happened at that point. So, you know, it was still a very comfortable win for Team Secret to that regard. And they're probably going to be looking to repeat that here. So, what do you have, Wolves? What do you have available to you? Cruiser repick is still there, so take everything about operators with a grain of salt, as, well, we just saw the swaps coming through as I said that. But what you at least need to be looking at here is some Heartbreach, which is definitely there. Now, Deadshot seems to be bringing the Jackal, could still change, but that would be helping out with finding these roamers. Ah, there we go, never mind, changes, last second. As I said, take it with a grain of salt. But it might have been a good pick, actually. A good shout to go for the Jackal and try and isolate these players up on the top 4, because if you find the top and middle floor to be safe, and you find a kill or 2 out of those, suddenly becomes so much easier to actually attack lockers.
Secret. Can they get themselves set up here? It's, you know, Wolves that have etched one onto the board. But it only takes a second to sort of bounce back. You're now on, theoretically, maybe one of your stronger sides. Okay, it's been played once and maybe learnt once. It'll be a different approach and a reapproach here. But the lead-in of Mowgli starting to get a bit sharp. P4 on the roll that's been sort of pushed to him because of the bans. Has been able to have some success. They're steady on. The hot droning ahead of Mowgli. Wants to once again find this fight. But with the breach happening across open, a different approach. This time it's netted to more safety.
Verticality being established here by Wolves. It's definitely going to be a big fight around the open area, though. Look at the amount of keeper barriers that have been set up. It's going to be a pain to clear this all out. And Groovy's not quite leaving yet. He is 1 leg down that hatch. He's not willing to fully commit yet. Wants to take a fight first. Wants to be spotted out first. Just something that makes it worth staying up here for now. Basically, every single keeper barrier has been used here for open area, all around him, and P4 is navigating around them as the red ping comes through. It's Groovy that drops, doesn't want to stick around, doesn't want to take the fight, was just there to waste some time. That means Wolves now have control of that first floor. They're moving on towards the blue staircase. Savage is holding out here with a shotgun. P4 is the one eyeing up to go for a potential push out there, but do you really want to go for it as a Wolves team right now? Because, well, you're going to have to use a lot of utility to get rid of that shield, get rid of the ADS, and get rid of the player itself. And with the hatch still being closed, opening up as we speak, you might be able to go for a bit of a split push down that staircase.
The pressure onto the hatches, the steady rotation round, less than a minute, and all 10 players still on the board. You can see Secret are sort of getting in themselves positions to strike. Savage is ready on the top of blue, but the approach is all on the back end for now. At what point do you take those smoke canisters, a very vital resource, and try and rotate them closer back to the site? You have to do it under the cover of safety. When as hatches pop open, there's only so much of that you have, but with 30 seconds, here comes the drop, and the rock round on the corner moves behind the grenade, takes a face of damage, but Mowgli suffers even more, still not dead. There's Mowgli down, bottom of green. They swing in, they get the first fight to get locked down. The second is a hell of a take via the bomb chassis itself. They've got the kit in and they've got the ability to cover it either side with gold watched. Well, YZN wins that out, and now the plant is going to be attempted round. Groovy, he's trying to move up. He gets the firefight on the back. Shinka sticks it. P4 finds Savage. And a technical 2 versus 2 with Mowgli still down. Groovy, he's watching up towards the hatch itself. He's on barely any health. He needs the rotation of YZN finally. The body is put out of its own misery. They're watching from green. The swing is Groovy. Shinka gets one more. Groovy, he's looking for the last, but Shinka locks in the round for Wolves.
An incredible, important round coming through there. The plan was there, and again, we mentioned it in the previous game. If you plant in that position, your post plant is relying on horizontal holds, and while you almost saw Secret run away with it there, Groovy able to just find kill after kill. But they now call a tactical timeout after losing 2 on the back of Wolves', which means that they also have issues connecting together right now. Wolves able to just slip through their nets and able to strike in the middle of that site, get that diffuser down. And now, the opportunity to talk, see if they can instantly recover that into a couple of rounds as well.
I mean, hey, it worked for Wolves, right? Take 2 rounds, take a timeout, and suddenly 2 back. Now it's the time to return the favor. You talk about how this can be a good attacker map here, but Secret want to make sure that they can break the momentum up of Wolves because they were close there. They weren't around before, but that one was a lot closer, and you know that was your lockers hold. So they're not going to double back down onto it. They're instead going to rotate on, find CEO, because even if they win or lose this, they've still got the chance of playing lockers as their last hold of the half anyway. And if they won lockers, they'd have to play this. So you may as well try and keep some of that positive idea.
Just watching the original push to come through. So beautifully opened up right here by Wolves. Pushing through. Yes, you lost Mowgli, but Desha with that double kill there. The new pickup of Wolves. And Groovy almost managed to bring it back right there. It's just that they didn't quite coordinate onto the final kill onto Shinka, which allowed him to go for that clutch. Beautifully played by him. Getting that diffuser down as well. And now what I mentioned the previous time we're out here onto CEO is that, you know, normally you see a different kind of architect to come through than Azami. It is Castle. Castle actually being played right now just to make sure that, you know, those repels outside are not going to be as effective towards the direct side itself as they usually would be. Slevin is opening up a very, very neat little angle down below. Which means if they go for the jump in from the window on copy, he has the opportunity to just punish them as they do it.
2 apiece. He will be able to take the swing round on this side. P4 with the quick motion. They're looking right behind the cover of the audio, and it has not been caught by Sleben. Very well played there. The noise, the E1D shooting through the barricades has allowed Wolves this. The ability to strike in almost undetected under the chaos of the noise. They get the first kill. They do a lot of damage to the second, but take enough to make them back off as well. There's still plenty of time and plenty of utility and chances for them to try and drive these remaining players out. Obviously, no grenades to be able to do any damage from underneath, but still, it's soft. You're getting the read. You might be able to get the push.
This is kind of how we want to see those E1Ds to be used, right? Like you pop it, you instantly try and push in afterwards, get that one kill on a player you know the position of, and you just go back out. You have that space, you have that kill. So well done by Wolves there. Just starting to work together better and better as this match goes on so far. Secret, they need to try and find something they can use to bring back the buddy advantage towards themselves. Now Astro's rotating back up, he's spotting some drones left, right and center. So he knows where he can and cannot go as we currently speak.
The pressure onto the wall, gets it open, gets them a sight line through to the back end of the site, and the swing from the banana side. Obviously, they were pretty much punished towards the end of the round with that. They know somebody was actively watching that drone there on the rotate. BB with the slow and steady rotate underneath, but it's Shinka suffering on the fight on the walls. Mowgli finally finishes his fight. He started a lot earlier, takes control of Janitors, but with Deadshot going down, Shinka's going to see if he can stick the kit. In the meantime, it's the spray across the board. The Solace isn't in a position to stop this from underneath. They're trying to bite their way back through horizontally. There's a great take there. Astro drives against Mowgli, puts them into the 3 versus 3. Bibu, he wants to hop outside, but Savage catches him as he tried to get himself a route to watch. Now P4, he's a bit too far away. Shinka gets a very important take. 20 seconds, a 2 versus 2, waits for the next swing, and he's able to win that one out as well. He might not truly know. He finishes him off. Savage, all that's left here, cannot find the fight. Shinka, 2 rounds in a row. He's winning engagements after the kick goes down. 3 rounds in a row for Wolves.
2 good rounds for Shinka indeed, just really showing his worth for Wolves here. Putting down the diffuser and holding it down with everything he has. You know, small magazine capacity with the operators he's been playing. Just enough to hold on. Back to lockers we go. Wolves now in the lead. Tactical timeout from Team Secret. Not really been as successful as Wolves is. See if they can still turn that around in this final round they have on the defense. Realistically speaking, you want to be locking off your bank defense with, well, a 3-3 or a 4-2 lead. So Wolves have already done what they need to do for now. If they manage to get an extra round out of this, they will be definitely finding themselves in a really good spot for the remainder of this match.
3-2 Wolves. Can this be the last bit of the drive? Steadying on back towards lockers. The last time we were here, it was close. It still prompted Secret to take attack timeout afterwards. The first time we weren't. That could have been the reasoning. The take was entirely on the back end of the site. They went towards the lobby hatch. They went for the elevator drop. They drove themselves in for the plant onto B. But will it be to B once again? Instead, the full hold all the way to the top. Janitor's locked as well. What attention is Wolves going to pay?
It's just all there to slow them down, right? Like that's why you lock off those hatches, just to be like, hey, we could still be up here. Make sure you truly checked every single corner, because if you don't, we might just be there and pop up. But at the same time, make them waste utility they can no longer use in the actual site itself. It's a bit of a balance that you need to strike there if you're Wolves. And talk about that, Savage, he will find an entry kill. P4 taken down. Mowgli looks to find a bit of a response, but he gets spotted out by the proximity alarm. He's being pushed through, gets through! Mowgli instantly fighting back, biting back into Secret.
Groovy sort of came up at the worst possible time there and led into a fight I don't think Mowgli fully expected, but well, he took the opportunity and found the second on the back of it as well. Suddenly, that early take that Secret had has fallen entirely away from them, and the sort of the monkey paw curls for the exchange of the entry. Now, with the damage that's been done, Savage gets himself closer and ready to drop the hatch if he needs to. He can try and waste some time. Some drones is the hope. He's gonna hope he can see some that come towards him, takes care of them, drops them, and then gets the drop itself, just costing them that little bit extra utility before the push on the site.
Yeah, that's usually what you do here, right? Like, you wait for a drone or a player to start putting some pressure down, that's when you drop, because there's no reason to drop right now. Like, you haven't been spotted yet, until just now. Spot comes through, Savage instantly falls back. It's just a waste of time you just mentioned. Did that successfully. Minute 20 on the clock. Wolves have that 1 man advantage right now. They need to start opening up, and there's actually a player inside the elevator. Are they aware of it? Doesn't seem to be the case. YZN in a good position to strike into the backs of Wolves. If they do not pay attention now, a breach is being made. Wolves is rotating around. It seems like they want to be going for the server stairs, sorry. Start going for a direct plant, but with YZN still above, that's the opportunity to just use these hatches against them.
45 seconds, and Savage wants to see if he can try and do something a little bit risky here, and he's baiting as much attention away from YZN, who's still tucked inside the elevator. There it is. Bibu dropped. They're still droning. They're still trying to find these loose remaining players prepped up for the plant on this end. There's a C4 in pocket that, well, it's not going to come out based on the position of the player. Instead, it's a swing round. Astro
Shinka, where'd he go off?
Wins the gunfight. Shinka pulls off because he's concerned they're just going to swing all the way around the corner. He tucks for the next engagement. They've now been able to move the C4 close. There's somebody either side, so they get him from the front anyway because, well, who cares about your flashes? Wolves, from magnificent bite back to Deadshot, getting one more at the end of the round. But that is it. 3 apiece. Fourth.
I was going to say, it's the 4th time we have a 3-3 first half coming through.
3-3.
So, overall, pretty close games today so far. I mean, we had a maximum OT, we had 12 rounds, we had 11 rounds. We're now already on 6, with at least a minimum of 10. Wolves now over towards the defense. They'll definitely be unhappy with how that last round played out. First of all, the player hidden inside the elevator is able to drop Bibu, which loses you your man advantage. And then, like, you're kind of losing out on the diffuser opportunity as well. I'm not quite sure if we get to see that again, but I'm pretty sure it was like less than a second remaining on the actual diffuser plant at that point. And of course, you're worried if your cover dies, like you might just get swung on at that moment in time. And it's very logical you get off and try and protect your life and the round at that point. It's just that with all, our all-seeing eye, it would have been better to stuck it and hope for the best. 3-3. Lockers again. Echo on the board, Solace on the board for the defenders. Goyo as well, Smoke, so there's going to be a lot of denial for both information, but also for time on the side of Wolves. If we look at the right-hand side, well, maybe we will see the Dokkaebi come to some use for some initial pushes, or the Twitch drones to find some of those, first of all, Goyo pockets, but also the Echo drones.
It shakes things up. It's, when you remove the sort of commonplace front target, it's like a classic Ash Jaeger ban. You're targeting a specific kind of player, a specific kind of drive. There is still Ash on the board, there is still options, but they're a little bit more limited at the minute than they were, say, 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Either way, there's still a hammer hit of the DMR in a pocket or two. It takes a little bit of a connection to make a much bigger connection, especially on the big open spaces that this map can offer. You're seeing the pickup and the use of those sort of guns in the hope that those firefights will happen over the concourse of lobby, over these sort of trickier angles that Groovy is now on the hunt for on the back end of Square.
Groovy looking for a first initial pick. Setting out his drones. Information is always key. In Siege, knowledge is often more important than the actual gunfight because you can just outsmart your opponent if you know where they are. The drops are coming through. Wolves not sticking around on the actual side. They want to fall back. They want to turtle down. And they want to make sure Secret is going to be working for it. As they start to push through, you see all these rotations are being made by Secret just so they can move themselves across that first floor quickly. Hatches to be opened up as well, so some pressure can start to come down. Yokai drone has gone unseen so far. It's going to get a lot of damage onto the Goyo pockets, but the Echo drone stays intact for now.
Shinka, he's trying to lead around the corner. There's still the reveal and a Twitch drone taken out by a shotgun that's just making sure A, he's not being watched, but B, the Echo drone isn't either. That's still getting the read here on every movement Savage is making, and as soon as he goes for the push, the swing comes around on the back end. It should be called and revealed, and there it is, but Groovy gets Shinka on the other side. 50 seconds, and the slightly awkward wall is entirely opened up. The Gon 6 is going to get utilized. They just sort of punch and rotate their way around. Mowgli does find one in the meantime. Fights their way back in. YZN taken off the board. Mowgli watching the long firefight and the kit on the far end.
Holding tight for now, 4-on-4. Time is starting to run out. They need to get another entry kill here for Secret if they want to go for that plant. Just saw the Jaeger run by. Mowgli takes a lot of damage there, but stays alive for now. Steban going for the phone call. It's going to be backing off into the plant spot after that. Deadshot will find Astro, which means that they now need to find a response on the side of Secret. It's not really the ideal position to be in to go for the plant, and he gets punished for it. The diffuser gets dropped. Groovy now needs to run to try and scavenge it, but he fails to do so. Savage, the last man standing, will not be able to make anything happen. Wolves will win the next round, will be up 4-3.
Yeah, first round falls into their favor here. They sort of had the time out, and they had the time entirely laid out before them. You could see, I mean, the fact that the first fight around blue only really came together with less than a minute left, and they still had to sort of try and drive that kit in. There was a lot of juggling and wasting. You always know that's going to be the case when you're going to plant, not only there, but plant on lockers. That's what's going to be the game ahead of you. They're going to be playing the long arm smokes, the long arm C4s, the long arm anything that causes you problems. And time was that big problem there. But different side, open, different problems, not time as much.
As we get going, Wolves, they are looking to put some distance between themselves and Team Secret to find themselves in a bit of a more comfortable position, of course. They managed to put a point on the board, but they need more than that. It was the team that was consistently present at any major last year and the 6 Invitational. They did not fail to qualify once. Now, they didn't make it far throughout the playoffs because they often, either didn't make it or got first rounded in there, but they were always there. Now they find themselves in a position where they are not even going to be making it through stage 2, or well, phase 2 of stage 1 of the Europe League. And that will definitely be something they will be upset about if that happens. So they need to up it. They need to make sure they get these 3 points now against Team Secret to make the best of their opportunities for the rest of, well, the group stages.
Drones making quick work of the castle hold, prepped around the side of the kitchen, and the attention paid to anything that gets served up here. That one is able to slip on by. They were looking for the control of that bulletproof, and that gets removed as well. Certainly they don't have those eyes on the back end, and WOL's going to have to pay keener attention towards the chance of Square falling, but that's also why they've got this, the stack up on CEO and on Tellers as well. That's all under their control. It makes Square awkward to play. Oh, that's a take that makes things a little bit less awkward. Savage removes Deadshot.
It's going to be a big advantage here for Secret. This Castle Gone is not really the biggest in terms of like utility whilst being alive, because it's just a place and forget kind of piece. There's still at least a player on the site or above the site gone you don't longer have to worry about. P4 on that Solace is making sure to move very carefully to not give away any of the sounds. They are aware though, and they will find him and take him down. Brings it to a 2-minute advantage here for Secret, who are looking to trade back around instantly after they lost it to make sure that the difference stays very minimal between the two.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, the previous round, they were suffered by that sort of hanging guillotine of time here. And they've got 30 seconds faster, and 2 bodies already removed. Make that 3. By this point, they hadn't even found their first in the previous round. It is a very different play space, a very different attitude, and one that is much better suited for how Secret wants to approach this. Wolves, 2 remaining players. BB, who hasn't quite been able to get a true bite into this game as of yet, and Shinka, who's bitten through a couple of rounds just by himself. Can he try and make that one more to add to the list? They're eyeing up the hold from above. The hatches, they have the chance at going for a bit more of a courageous drop and flick round. They have the body count. They have it threefold. They've got to make use of it.
This is it. They have the opportunity to try and continue trading, but Groovy gets taken down. It certainly complicates things just slightly. It's still within reach though for Secret. All they need to do is just all pull the trigger at the very same time, but Bibu's leading into a fight. Savage will find Shinka. There comes another trade. Now, in a 1v3 situation, he will not last. Savage takes him down, and Secret, they trade back around. Keep things even here, as they are looking to find some points for themselves as well to get themselves in a potential phase 2 qualification.
Okay, Staffen open. And, well, we're going to double it down. Run it back. What do you change? What do you bring here that you didn't quite have before? It felt like, obviously, we didn't see the true lead up into the first fight. It's bank, it's awkward to get that, but it was a great take. The second we did, and they entirely had the number of that Solace, trying to play a little bit sneaky inside the top floor. It doesn't look like Wolves want to try and replicate that. Go for the control of the drones in a slightly different way with the Mozzie. Try and maybe play against yourself and get more of a read of active information with P4 on the Echo. Whatever helps you not entirely get caught out by what felt like a very good drone game there.
Yeah, the roam on the top floor definitely didn't work out. They might still try to do a roam on the top floor, but if they do, they're going to be doing it in a way where they're probably going to be in a bit more of a safe position, not directly on that front line. Give them some space, just to take it back afterwards. If they don't roam, they're probably all going to be around on the horizontal side of things, like maybe archives, maybe some tellers. We could even see someone go over to the side office to just hide out there and hope for the best. For now, it just seems like only Deadshot and Mowgli are up on that top floor, but both have safe ways back out due to the castle barricades being located the way they are. They could just go quickly into the site though, Emmy. Look at that. They've already opened up the wall. There's already a rotation right there. YZN is looking to just walk through in just a couple of seconds. Smoke grenades to cover off his back. Straight up plant right behind the kitchenette.
I mean,
they don't know. They have no clue.
They have no clue. I said they wanted to go for something a little bit more active. Remember how the first start of this happened before, which was, well, they had those bulletproofs dropped out. P4, does he know that they've moved round? Does YZN have the confidence to just go for this? The Echo drone, the call's out. That's going to be the play against them. Mowgli's got the read now on that Monty on the back corner. They're going to rotate some of their players background. You can suddenly see maybe a little bit more of a switch on. There it is. the attention paid for, and unfortunately that barricade went the wrong way, and you know, he didn't take an opportunity, but to be honest, with how quick that close down came, he's made the right decision there.
Wasn't really anybody there to back him up if he would have gone for the plan, because just look at how Wolves was set up. And instantly after he pulls out, it's the entry kill to come through. Slabin instantly replies though, quickly runs up to the top floor to join Savage in clearing out the rest that could potentially still be out there. At least they've negated the damage that was out up on that top floor, secured that. Now they can start focusing on actually getting that plan down, still having the Monty in play and in pocket.
Wow, as the calls come together, as they've driven themselves into this trickier situation, there's been the blows back and forth. Obviously, Groovy gone, they've lost to Flores, but the lead-in, to be fair, is going to be more of an aggressive firefight. The attention towards Square, they want to get this open, they don't want to lose the Selmas for the cost of it. Look at the Monty getting the read, the spray through over the top, the wall will get popped open. They're not quite in a position to trick against that as of yet. But with 50 seconds, they're sort of playing against the space. Mowgli still paying a lot of attention, concerned about anything the Monty does, but more so because, well, someone's going to swing around on the back of it. Monty wants to press up, make his presence known, goes for the swing on the knife and the pepper towards the feet itself. They've got a player stepped up onside stock. Mowgli's still going for this. Engagement just dropped at the worst possible time. Sleben gets P4, YZN. He's able to pull himself back round. It's suddenly just Mowgli. He's able to at least get the drop on the Monty who caused him all the damage. But I mean, if we're back and forth, there it is, continued.
Very chaotic round, though. Like, if you just look at it, right? Like, for the first 10 seconds of the round, it looks like it's going to be a rush. They have opened up the castle barricade. They've opened up everything directly next to it. The Monty's already inside. It's like you're going to go for a plan.
And they didn't know, but they didn't know that they didn't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think you were a bit like, it's too quiet.
It's too quiet, and also, importantly, as we sort of highlighted, look at the two differences of who did he have to support him directly?
Yeah.
Nobody. There's no soft above that. If you don't have the control from blue, then you're going to have a really tricky time getting it. The wall wasn't open. They didn't have anything inside, sort of, you know, the teller's side as well. They didn't have the positions. However, as soon as Wolves saw it, I think it was 4 Wolves players appeared out of the woodwork. The one that had been in the site, the one that had been in tellers, both suddenly had backups of their own and instantly showed head and sort of said, here we are. And then Secret went, no, this isn't right, pulled back and then found it in an alternate way. It was entirely the right call there. And
yeah, it's very well played by Secret to stay passive there to some extent, like not like wanting to you know, see the opportunity and just throw everything at it, not knowing if it's going to be working out, especially in an important game like this. I mean, mentioning it, Secret lose this, again, they're out, right? So, like, they need to get that victory. So, the composedness is definitely helping out. Well played by them. And now they need to continue on, trying to find their 6th round to put themselves up onto match points against Wolves, who, again, after the loss of Rise, or after changing him out for Deadshot, might have been having a bit of a leadership issue here and there. Like, who's really making those call-outs now? Who's keeping everybody at bay? That's one of those big questions we had leading up to this game. Also, shield set up, just for some long angles.
Yeah, it gives you that sort of Talon angle. It gives you the idea onto that single surf. The second one has been set up here as well. Obviously, you keep an eye on the swing that might come round. The Bravo drone doing all the busybody work on the back end. I'll try and catch the camera here on the swing and give them the lead up underneath white. There it is. That one will be seen. Bye-bye. That's ours now.
Could be fully aware if that was being hacked because they were on it as the shot came through. Like,
no!
It's like just spending your last moments with that camera before it gets taken down. Shinka finds YZN. Takes down the Ossa. It's going to be meaning that those shields will no longer move around and will just be, well, stationary in their positions. P4 has not been spotted onto the server stairs right here, and, you know, as soon they will go for a recovery on that diffuser, he might actually be in a very crucial spot to deny that.
Bravo drone, unfortunately, cannot steal Frostmat, but will ping it out for the benefit of their team, get the Frost revealed, and get that sort of put across for the rest of the team. There it is, Astro. I'm not going to say he got the freebie there, but he got an opportunity and he made sure he took it. Mowgli tried to rotate their way back round. There is some support and structure there. They're sort of making the statement. And there's the final kill. Bibu did it.
What? Bieber was a traitor? He just secured the kill for them. He's like, you know
I
what?
think he was trying to shoot a drone.
He probably tried to shoot a drone. That will be the more logical way to go at it, but Astro just finds a second, and now he's trying to go through to the actual site. Shinka finds Savage. Another kill. No, will be denied. Deadshot shuts him down.
They've hopped their way into the site. Deadshot still making big business on the long desk, and Wolves. They bring us back level 5 apiece. There's not been any quick games today. And that's a trend that's continuing through.
At least another 12 rounds in this one.
Yep. There. We've seen almost the maximum amount of regulation rounds today.
Well, I mean...
Only one game has fallen short.
But because we went to overtime once, we have seen...
Technically, we've seen every game has been a max.
Yes. We've done at least 48 rounds, which is regulation.
We're going all the regulation.
We're going all the regulation. I'm not going to try and do that accent anymore.
It was fantastic.
Thank you.
I asked, because obviously the pronunciation of YZN is the letters.
Yes.
I asked in the group, I said, you know, what can I get a pronunciation check?
Wasn't it Joe?
Z or Z. And then, yeah, Des, Southerner said Z. Tim, Northerner, Z. And then someone else said Joe. I think it was Fresh.
I think it was Fresh. That's you can just call him Joe if you want.
Call him Joe.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to. But I am excited if
we're that close.
If he's ever pronounced by Americans who will be like, why ZN? Is it Z? Do they say Z and we say
it's
Z?
Z?
Yeah, we say.
Isn't it Z? I don't know.
We say
I'm
Z.
Dutch. I don't like.
That letter doesn't even exist in the Netherlands.
Well, we have Z. It's also it's like. Wait, let me just go past the alphabet for a second. Yeah, it's Z. No, it's just going through it in my head.
You went through the whole alphabet in your head and it's the same?
Yes, it's the same.
Oh, I wish Easy was here to mock you right now.
Oh, I'm so glad he's in a name and doesn't mock me now.
Astro got that first bite, that first bit of pressure last time round in terms of this position. Obviously, it wasn't the first engagement, but he suddenly struck at the heart of the site and put a bit of fear into the side of Wolves, who had to rebuild. They did, but still. Can he try and make that mark happen again? Hot droned round on the corner. Mowgli, he's not too far away, but he's not going to sit around and find out what happens next. As Astro gets himself just propped up there at the top of white.
Solas just quickly checking if there's any drones inbound. Spots out the Excara, so, you know, knows that that hatch is opening up. Not like he could have seen it without it. But knows there's no drones, more importantly, around. At least so he thinks. Because that shot is currently being spotted. And that's a free kill to come through. No, Astro actually doesn't quite connect it on the first. Still find it in the end, though. And that's the instant drop to come down from P4. Doesn't want to stick around. And that means that open area now has been cleared of any Wolves personnel out there. And the opening kill is there for Secret. Again.
I talked about this site before. Obviously, time was that big, ominous hurdle. They've found an opening player. They've got themselves a pace slightly better than about 30 seconds. They're looking for the next fight here, and they're doing it very direct. Remember the last time, and the last push was one where they weren't quite able to get the lockout on this position. The blinds are about to roll through. There's the burn. There's the player just behind it. Shinka gets the win out. The down finished off with the smoke. Groovy does get revenge. But they sort of hoped that the rush and the swing would be a little bit unexpected. He was ready to rock the trigger.
It definitely did a lot of damage. Just that one extra bullet was necessary to shut him down without losing any life out there. It's going to be a quick pop onto some of those Goyo canisters. Don't want to have those around if you want to go for a plant later on. Mowgli holding aggressively on the main stairs, decides to fall back. Smoking has to use to stop anybody from playing in the garage as well. They're eyeing up to go for a plant here for Secret. They have to wait until that fire runs out, and at that moment, YZN is just going to start pushing through.
A 4 versus 2 now, 30 seconds. They're going to see if they can maybe start the reverse plant here. You're not looking at much in the pockets outside of maybe this.
Drone.
But it dropped on a player. Ooh, devastating position there. He thought he could be a bit quiet, but unfortunately, nothing gets your attention more than being hit on the head. Bibu does find the kill on the back end, and the fire gets the next. They prop that ready. Bibu with the rotate round on the back end. He's suddenly in a strike position. 4 seconds, no diffuser. The spray through the solids, and somehow Wolves have grabbed that round from what seemed like a bit of a wipe and wash out there.
I need that in replay. Just those last 30 seconds. Like, what exactly happened there? because there was some flashbangs. The kills came through from, you know, I believe it was P4 fully flashed, able to take down the diffuser, and then, you know, the other one just running all the way deep. But Wolves, they grasp onto that round, they hold onto it, and they manage to secure it for themselves, now finding themselves onto match point. Just a single one before we had to OT. And if they win this round, Secret is the first team to be eliminated from making it to the major. Dun dun dun. Which is really painful after they've been to 6 Invitation.
I mean, it's, you know, big roster changes, obviously.
It was, yes.
To the roster. They've found themselves with a new face. They've sort of tried to get into the swing of things. They haven't quite worked out. And obviously Wild, on the opposite side, have had such a sort of meteoric rise in this group that it makes things tricky, where the chances of might still been alive in the other group based on how scrappy it's been. However, it's not over yet. Secret, they've got 1 round to try and pull this back together. They're having these moments, these opportunities, and there, as you said, the way it's sort of pieced together, obviously it's the 2 versus 4. 2 of the players have dropped onto the opposite side. They've gone towards Elevator, they've gone towards Vault. Whether that was the call or not, and a read, either way, the position that was taken there by the 2 remaining Wolves players, one popped the canister whilst blinded, which got the kill on the planter. The other took the long-range fight with the person they dropped an echo drone onto. And then suddenly it's uh-oh.
A big uh-oh coming through. And now Wolves, they have found themselves in the position they didn't expect to be in. Drone taken out from Estro. It's been incredible at finding these initial kills for Secret, opening up these opportunities. And they're going to need another one of those now. Another one of those openings to leverage into a round victory afterwards. But considering we have been relatively back and forth throughout the entirety of the match, might just be Secret running away with this one. As Wolves break that rhythm. Top floor under control of Secret. Wolves have fallen back. They're not really that interested in keeping hold of it, even though they have expended a couple of castle barricades out here just to waste some utility on the Secret side. A minute 30 have passed. Now starting to open up vertically, seeing if they can dislocate any of the players from Wolves.
Wow, this is that moment again where time is sort of falling a bit away from Secret. I've said it's been a problem a couple of rounds here. One of their reads on open was flawless so far. This time, obviously they're going for the take onto square. They don't have the Monty to be that lead-in. They've got themselves the angle onto the players. They're getting that width right onto the corner to make quad wall a bit dangerous. Cannot quite get the shot there. Dead shot. Oh, he finds the second to stop it getting turned into another walk-through angle, but it's mainly to force the player out of the position, the one on the far end anyway.
At least it's a crouch angle, right, they can go for. It's not going to be a running one. That's the advantage for defenders when Selmas get used, as Groovy finds the first kill. That shot taken care of, right. After I was saying he was going to be in a good spot from where he was. Angle used against him there. In Secret, they have that man advantage they now need to try and utilize. Another one drops a Shinka, tries to fight back.
Groovy does go down, Mowgli as well. Suddenly it's just P4 left, and yeah, sure, it's a 3 versus 1, but they seem to know where he is. They have the watch from either side. We're going to our second OT of the day, 6 apiece.
Who's going to win it? At some point, we have to stop trading rounds because, you know, there's only 3 left to go. Secret will continue on the attack. Wolves will stay on the defense. The CEO seems to be the first side they're opting to go for here.
You know, you sort of have the curiosities. They're not going to open. I can answer that question enough.
Yeah, I was gonna look at it as well. I was like, lost once, twice, thrice. So that is not not
open was every single defensive round they lost. They won Lockers and CEO every single time they played it, and they're maybe assuming they might be playing a defense twice here. They have CEO and they have Lockers at their disposal. It's sort of a slightly different story in that, you know, we had a few different examples of wins and losses across the sites from the side of Secret's defense. So
Wolves basically, I mean, they're not really the team that can, like, it's not their game to lose, because it's been 3-3 splits,
Yeah.
right? So it is pretty even. But looking at the fact that they have 100% success rates on two the sides, but they just decided to play open area 3 times, which have lost all 3 of them, means that, like, maybe if we look at it that way, it's their game to lose. Again. Just, we'll find out very soon. Because the action phase has started, claymores are being set up, Secret not wanting to be the victim of a jump out to come through. Ruby playing on that Brava is going to be using those clutch drones to see what kind of utility could be converted to their side. Now, really only the Banshees will be doing that for you. The others would just be destroyed. Maybe the bulletproof camera could be a good target as well, or just the default camera here and there. There's not any like Capcom traps you can try and bamboozle the defenders with.
Who will get that very important first lead in, and will Secret be able to push themselves to a site that technically they've not been able to win onto this side as of yet? The Jammers will just keep that wall solid for now. Mowgli gets rid of the betrayal of that Banshee earlier rather than later. Saw that the color had flicked and saw the little flickers of light and decided, well, I'm not going to play with that. Mowgli suffers a scrape on the opposite end, but with the rotate coming around onto the windows, and I think 3 players stacked up here. They're going to see if they can try and get something from this end.
Just a very close fight right there around the keeper barrier. It's not going to be resulting in a kill for either side. A little bit of damage done to Mowgli, but nothing too massive. Summons are being used to open up wide into Janitors to hopefully make that a bit unplayable for the defenders, but it could also just open up these angles. The spot comes through. Groovy, aware of that, is going to be trying to go for a bit of a pre-firewall bang onto P4. Call it out. He might have rotated down, because that's exactly what he just did.
Do they know, though?
I don't think they did. Oh, no, they definitely don't!
He doesn't quite get the win. He doesn't quite get the full kill. But he does get Savage on the back end. The hot ping came through, and he could utilize that through the soft wall itself. That was almost a devastating moment there for Secret. They're just able to find the right end of it. They almost lost their heart breach for the cost as well, but Mowgli still holding on here to stock. Now it's a firefight that doesn't quite go his way. He pulls himself to safety. Doesn't want to get shot by BB, but YZN finds the end of the fight this time round. Dead shot with the C4 does get rid and get response, but as Groovy enters and swiftly exits the site, suddenly it's Savage with the triple. That's the most important play. BB on the back end gets one more. A technical 2 versus 2, 20 seconds. They still have the diffuser. They're trying to get it closer and closer to the engagement. They're either side of the player tucked in. Long desk, but they win both. And Secret, they take their first OT round here, and they can now move on to their defense.
For a second, they're afraid that Secret was taking it a bit too aggressively. Like, they've had the opening, then they continue to walk into these crossfires that really weren't covered off by any of their teammates or utility or even information. They're still coming out on top, so no worries there. It's just they could have just as well gone the other way around there, because Wolves able to find those trades with those crossfires. And now 6-7, a Team Secret match point. 1 out of 2. It's just if they lose this one, it's in anyone's game, in anyone's match point.
It turns into a best of 1 of 1.
Yeah, it's a best of 1 of 1.
Best of 1 inside a best of 1.
Just because we love best of 1s that much.
Can't get enough of them.
30 seconds before we get started. Top 4 has been selected by Secret. If you're then looking over it, they've won it once, they've lost it once. It's a bit 50-50 for them. They probably are banking on the fact that they have something that they could use to stop Wolves from being successful. They might have seen a pattern that could be working for them, or saw something in the last attack that Wolves went with. They can play against. Remember how this game started off with a jump out? Don't think we're going to see it now. None of the windows are prepped. But we've definitely seen a bit of a different game after that. It was the only jump out we see. In both of the banks? I think it was the only jump out in both the banks. In all the rounds we've seen.
In all the banks in the world.
Well, not in all the banks. Just the ones we've seen today. Oh.
In some of the banks of the world.
Specifically the ones from today, yes.
Wolves. Can they claw this one back? It started negatively for them, but they were the first team to get themselves onto potential map point, to have it swiftly revoked and returned with the classic Uno reverse card. Here, They've even been reversed on the site selection itself. They said we can take it on attack, we'll take it on defense, and it's your choice and your opportunity to try and break it. They have a width of control. Astro, I believe, is the one playing the Solace around underneath. There's some attention being paid towards them from P4. There he is. This is always that risk here. It's a lot of soft inside the site, and if you hop up, there's a lot of places you can get caught from here.
Now Astro luckily doesn't carry, you know, like with Solace, the most dangerous kit in terms of explosives. Just the impact grenades will be enough to open up and deal a lot of damage, but it's going to be the P90 that will have to do the most damage out there if they do go for a plant. But what is more likely is that actually when the plant goes down, he feeds that information to the rest of his team, who can then instantly strike.
There was a moment of silence there as they were waiting to get some confirmation. Shinka,
he dropped the diffuser and then went outside?
He's leaving the diffuser. Maybe he's trying to bait the Solace. Yeah. So he's put it on the floor so the Solace sees it and sprays through and they can get him from above. They're sort of saying, here's the diffuser, because the Solace cannot see a difference to somebody planting or a diffuser just cold on the floor. That's what they're doing, laying a trap and hoping they can get the kill through it. However, they're not baking it. They're not taking the bait. They're on the other side of the map around White Stairs. They need Astro to fall for it, and he's so far from falling from it.
But how would you be able to go for the instant reply, though? That's my question.
Bibu, he's rotated around towards the big double door on the opposite end. He's found his way around onto lobby, but as I said, there wasn't a response to it. They haven't been able to get the catch on the back end. Bibu just wins the fight out against them anyway, as suddenly it's all started to explode over the top floor of the site. They can now recollect that kit. Shinka's got it in pocket. There's an important fight for Groovy, but now it's not Shinka left. I was gonna say Secret, though. End the sentence for me, end the map for us, and end the day. Falling into a win, 8-6.
Great victory there for Secret. They're not going to get full points, but they have that victory. That's all that matters now. They stay in the race to, and I have to correct myself, qualify through the Europe League, because there's also still alternate ways to do it.